So, Harry, maybe we'll kick off and you can share what's been happening for you, your Frido kind of related journey the last week or so.
Good Lord. Well, I'll start with the Frido retreat, which was why we didn't do the last Thursday, because you was the day before. You guys needed to get ready for Friday. And wow, it was an amazing Frido. Truly amazing. There was all new people, a lot of new people, and I learned a lot. Do you know what? I didn't tell you guys. One of the things that stuck, I did tell Kirsty though. One of the things that stuck with me is when you said, Gary, told us to close our eyes and talked about body intelligence. When we was doing the self massage, and how we are, a lot of us, unintelligent with the body because we don't touch ourselves, or other people touch us soft, gentle, hard, squeeze, suck, lick, whatever. Like we're so so when we was touching ourselves, I was thinking a lot that most of us have really bad body intelligence. It's nice to spend time. I would like to improve my body intelligence and how it's separate to the mind. It has its own intelligence. So it's not the mind, which is something that I specialize in, I guess, or overthink a lot or whatever I'm good at. I'm good with the mind, but I'm not good with the body. So yoga, but beyond yoga, I mean, just touching, with a partner, pleasuring yourself, whatever, or pleasuring, touching yourself is really important. So it really is, I think it's going to stick with me, what you said there. You spend like half an hour talking to us about it on the Frido retreat. It was amazing. I wish it was recorded in a way. Maybe we could cover that at some point more in the future, but I really took away a lot from that. The whole treat was amazing though. And the shadow too was my highlight. Shadow night on Saturday night was amazing. Density on the Frido cards. Thinking about role models and anti-role models of the shadow, people that have qualities that you admire but you don't like them, all that stuff. So yeah, it was really good all in all. I had an amazing Frido retreat experience, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I liked it. It was an extra we had a Friday night instead of just Saturday, Sunday, so we got a bit extra compared to normal, and I'm really looking forward to December. If you say we're going to, you're definitely doing Frido in Thailand or Mexico, probably Thailand. I'll definitely come to that. So that's good.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's great, and that's really good that you that stuck, the body intelligence, because that's so fascinating. I'm like you, Harry. I would say I'm quite masterful of my mind in many ways. It's like, because that's where I've been all my life. So I've been really enjoying exploring my mind since I was tiny, and that's why I don't usually get stressed mentally. I normally can sort out problems mentally. I'm really good usually with figuring out things because my mind's really quite good, but the body definitely was something more new over the last few years that I connected more to, and that's fascinating me. The last few years it's been fascinating me because I feel like if the body's kind of that kind of same intelligence, magnitude that I feel my mind is, kind of infinite source of knowledge, I think, wow, that's just incredible.
Oh, just to add as well, I'm remembering as you talked when you said about to prove the body intelligence so important when a child, I'd be saying a baby, if it doesn't get touched, it dies, doesn't it?
Apparently, so I've read some things on that if they can either die, they can actually it's more important than food, touch as a baby, and also with less touch they can become very detached, like detached through their life, especially those first several weeks, and then, well, yeah, definitely the first several weeks I would say, but then the first 7 years, obviously the younger is like the most important, and then obviously it's still important, especially in those first several years of a child's life developing, really developing and learning through their experience. I know, like when a child learns to ski when they're 5 years old, they're like awesome. Like, they just, when I learned to play pool and table tennis, and when I was young, I'm still good at it. I learned, when you're young, you just learn things really well and they stick forever, compared to when I try and learn things after that age. Once I'm sort of 12, 15, 20, it's really quite then hard to kind of learn in that same way, because as a child you can learn so easily.
Same with languages. There's learning languages, isn't it, as a kid?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a shame I didn't have that kind of amazing learning when I was young, but it's never too late. So just a bit harder now, that's all. It takes a bit longer. And obviously when you get older, you have things in the way, you know, your life's busy, so it's harder then to dedicate the time and the energy into new things. You know, when we've already got our lives set up, we're busy with things every day. So especially people who work, you know, full time, they just, how can they learn anything new when they're working full time? It's like, or got children like Mina, it's very hard, you know, when you've got kids, it's a pretty full-time job. But yeah, well done. Nice. Thanks for sharing. Do you remember your symbol last time? 2 weeks ago? Doesn't matter if you can't, just curious. No. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thanks, Harry. Nadine, how about you? How's your journey been the last couple of weeks? Like, do you remember what you were working on 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I just looked it up. We did the role play and I was the Joker and my word was mean.
Oh, you were the Joker. Yeah.
And so I was thinking if I did how the last 2 weeks were, if I was especially mean, but actually my action was that I like this, what I said before, that I want to start more conversations in Facebook and just be more authentic and share more my what I'm thinking, whatever. And then I also wrote down I want to tell my ex his what I appreciate about him and what I don't appreciate about him, because I already did that some time ago. I listed everything, but I never sent it to him. And I just thought, first I thought I asked him if he want to see it, and then I thought I just send it to him, and then he can do. I told him you can take it on or just read over it, or you can just ignore it. I just felt like sharing it with you, and actually he really appreciated it. So that was good. And then yeah, I'm still like processing the Frito retreat from the weekend. There was so much going on, and yesterday I was thinking what was actually the heading from the whole weekend, like what was my biggest learning or what the outcome of the retreat. And in the end I thought it was like letting go, because as some of you know, I had this like with my auntie was like on her way of to die, so it was this over the weekend, and yeah, different things were going on. And then also still with my ex-boyfriend. And then 2 days ago he sent me a message that he found a new partner, and almost after 2 years. And it made me really happy, like, because I yeah, I just wish that he's happy and don't hold on to our relationship anymore. So that was also about letting go of him, and so that's really nice.
That's nice, Nads. Yeah, so that's great. And since last year, you know, I've really noticed huge differences with you since we met, and one of them definitely was your communication. You know, you're facing more challenging communications than you used to. You wouldn't face those. You know, you wouldn't even ring your family in Thailand. You know, you didn't want the grief, so you never even phoned them or kept in. Yeah, and it was from that early on. Now you you communicate with them since then, and your boyfriends, and you communicate the more challenging things, which is amazing. So it's great to see. And I know that was one of the big things you wanted to work on, your communication, to be able to communicate even the more challenging kind of communications. So that's really great. Okay, that's great. And how about Magic? Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. So how's your symbol? How's your Frito journey been?
Yeah, so my symbol was truth. And yeah, and lots of things happened because I was like trying to get into the skin of Schopenhauer. Yeah. So and he was actually a quite mean guy. and yes, and you know, my task was to speak the truth and to explore, I guess, the reaction of people, how they will react. So I try to be polite, but actually I had some talks which gives me some trouble, you know, and now I need to deal with this somehow. So yeah, but I'm enjoying the ride, so to say, and not really trying to fix the problem, because I was honest and communicating quite clearly, but just like prepared my ground. So it wasn't like I was jumping on anyone and telling whatever I would like to say. I was just trying to be flexible. But yeah, actually ended in some cases that some people didn't really wanted any contact with me. So it is interesting, because normally I was always trying to balance the situation that it wouldn't come to this kind of outcome. Yeah, so I have lots of thoughts still processing, and apart from that, it was really also difficult experience, because I needed to deal with other stuff which were very important to me. I was helping someone, like a really trying to help someone who was injured, and I was focusing on this work and needed to deal with another one which was basically not so important but occupied my mind. So I needed to like regulate myself, to be clear and like in a loving state approaching this other person, and so it was really challenging. Yeah,
That's cool. It sounds different for you. A
yeah,
different approach.
definitely. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Oh, nice one.
Mhm.
And thank you. And Kirsty.
Hello. Yeah, I feel like I haven't been on this call for a while. I can't remember the last one for my symbol. But I popped in on the 3-day retreat, and I was working with energy, the simple energy. So I've got my letter here that I wrote.
Would you like to read it out to us?
I could read it out to you. So I have energy 40% because I've been feeling a bit lower energy than normal. So I say, dear energy, I would love for you to flow without restriction, to heal the stagnation and being in healing environments, loving energies, putting life potent forces into the body and healing the kidney. Been having some kidney stuff going on with acupuncture, herbs, rest, be in calm places, sing, dance, and gently build up the energy. Try something new, an energizing project, massage, detox. What do you need to let go of? What places nourish you? Go on an adventure where your spirits lift, let go of the past. Remember the times when you have felt energized and alive. Stay away from old stories and patterns. Don't need to feed them. Morning writing, tantra, break the regular ways. Love, Kirsty. And that was my letter. Frozen.
Oh, nice. You froze, and I think we were okay. Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that was the symbol I was working on there. I'm feeling a bit more energy, yeah, hanging out in Brighton by the sea was lovely, getting some sea air, some adventure. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, it reminds me as well, like when for my symbol of energy, I've got my personal symbol of energy, and it's quite interesting because sometimes I experienced a lot high energy and sometimes like slower energy, but it wasn't bad. It was still energy. It was still a nice energy, but just like when I'm sleeping, I have a nice, gentle, slow energy I can feel. It's actually very energizing, just resting. or sometimes, you know, dancing is energizing. So it's kind of, I experience different speeds of energy. Because I think one person I was coaching, they had this idea that they needed to be busy all the time, you know, they want to be busy, and this kind of energy, very high energy and fast and doing things and active. So it's quite interesting, and they were burning themselves up a lot, you know, because they're seeking that kind of, because they only experience low energy as being kind of what's the word, depleting, like more of a depleting, but then we learned together that slow energy can be also very nourishing, of course, you know, lying on the beach in the sun. That's nice. Anyway, thanks, Kirsty. And Mina.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
I think I missed the last journey. The previous one I did was a space, and my word was nurturing. I'm happy today. Yeah, I keep smiling. And I'm going on a date tomorrow. I can't wait to share.
Excuse me, you're going on a date?
Yes.
Okay, this is more interesting than Frido. Go on, tell us.
Indeed. Because I did the harmony journey, I think a week ago, when you posted on. And I went out and spoiled myself with shopping and all. And then I had a guy who texted me, and we've been chatting for a week. And so I'm going for a date.
Oh, where did you meet him? Did you meet him at the shops?
No, on Instagram.
What?
On Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram.
I know.
That's cool. And where's he taking you?
We're going for a coffee tomorrow, and maybe for lunch.
All right, make sure you don't take your money with you.
No, I'm not taking anything back.
Absolutely. Don't. That's what I tell my daughters. Don't take your money with you on your first date. Because if they're not going to pay for you on your first date, tell them where to go.
And you know how I am. I get very excited, and then after you will see, I'll be crying again.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And last journey I did was a space, and my symbol was nurturing, and it was really, I picked Nadine, who I was having lots of issues with him, but they were sick. The kids were sick for a week, and they were home with me, and all the nurturing was there, and everything was going on well. So everything was okay. Yeah.
Good. You look well.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's great. Okay, and I had a great weekend with the guys on the Frida retreat. Loved it. There was absolutely no drama that I witnessed anyway, so it was great. Or I wasn't involved in, which is unusual. But it was nice. It was very harmonious the whole weekend for me, and it was beautiful, lovely. The weather was great. It was going to rain the whole weekend, and it didn't. You know, the week before I thought it was going to rain the whole weekend, and the weather turned out absolutely fabulous. You know, went down there on the Thursday, day before, and me and Nads just had a good time, and then we came back, and it was great, and the journeys were great. The people were amazing on the retreat, and we had some really excellent journeys, very beautiful. So,
I saw some of the photos on the Facebook. It looked so beautiful. Looked like you had all a great time.
It was a good time. I mean, there'll be a lot more photos and videos because we had a photographer there doing some professional photos and videos. So hopefully we'll get some really cool ones up there. Okay, so today we're going to work on the symbol of harmony. So I don't know if any of you got your cards with you, but harmony. Magic, you should have your cards with you, shouldn't you? We sent you the cards. Oh, look, Magic's got his pack of cards in Thailand. They travelled all the way there.
Yeah, I've got them.
Look
Thank
at that.
you very much.
And Nina's got her little cards.
Yeah. Oh, where is it? There.
There, you got your harmony card.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Nice.
I think I need to buy them.
You would got them. Yeah. Actually, no, I had them. Yeah, I had them in. I always have them with me. So I had loads of packs with me on the weekend.
Oh, I should have bought one. If you post it to me in PayPal, I'll just buy one.
Yeah, no worries. I always bring them. I don't normally push it. You know, it's only if people ask.
And they smell so nice.
That's a-
At least mine, I don't know, but
Really?
really nice.
Yeah,
Maybe-
it's the Frito essence.
Oh, we might have sprayed a bit of essence in the cards or something.
I did that on the little pouch.
Oh,
Okay,
Nadine did
this
it.
one, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. Otherwise, if Nadine,
Mina, you.
before I met
Yours-
Nadine, they would have smelt more like shit.
Maybe that's why mine is.
So the harmony. So what's that for you guys? Harmony.
Yeah, it's peace, definitely.
No.
Is it though? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it just peace, harmony,
Yeah, it's like balance, maybe. Yeah,
balance?
yeah.
Okay, so here's a really great one. A lot of people think harmony is only good. A lot of people think, oh, they want harmony in their life. It's only good. But if I was to say to you, it's also bad, it can be equally bad. You might think that's strange. That's a strange comment. How
It
could
is.
harmony be bad? Anyone?
Maybe if you are in a difficult situation and everything is bad, and you need to maybe behave in a way of which will hurt people, but you need to be safe in the same moment. Yeah, so maybe in this kind of like in the war times or something like that.
Maybe something like that. So you're opening your mind a bit more to the possibilities of what harmony is, because we go through life, don't we, and we don't question most of the things that we do or understand, like the word harmony or love or fear, and we often just go through life and just don't really question them or explore them. And so this is what it's a harmony, being one of the Frito universal symbols. That's why the cards are just what I call the Frito universal symbols. There's lots of symbols, right? There's millions and millions of symbols, but the Frito ones, what I call a universal symbols, they're very, very powerful for many people. So harmony, if you look at the card, look, they're working together, right? They're like mirroring each other. They're not fighting. They're kind of working together. But think about this. Two gangsters working in harmony together to rob a bank or to kill someone or to rape people or to whatever. Hitler had to work in harmony with all the people that he worked with so that he could do the job he wanted to do. Like all his officers and the Gestapo, they were all working really well together, right? They worked amazingly well together to create something that I might say is horrific or someone else might say is wonderful. So harmony could actually be, but basic harmony is working together to produce a result, an agreed result. Like if you're in a relationship and you both want to have a nice time together, you have to work together to create that nice time. If you want a horrible time together, then you can also create that by working together to create a horrible time. In some ways, if you think about it, when you have an argument in your relationship, if an alien was looking at you and watching what was happening, he would say, wow, they're really working well together to create a horrible experience. They can see how they're working so well. Like one of them is irritating the other one, and then the other one is doing something to make the other one angry. And it's like, wow, they're working brilliantly together to create a horrible experience. So it's really like if we can master harmony, we can then use harmony to create the experiences we want. And when we're having an argument, we might realize, well, okay, this isn't really what we want to create together. But if we don't know how harmony works, we don't know what to do with it. Sometimes harmony takes over. If we don't use harmony, in other words, if we're having an argument and we're ignoring harmony, or we don't know how to use it to create a good result, then harmony will just continue to create a bad result because harmony doesn't give a shit. It just wants to be working together. That's all. It's forcing you to work together for good or for bad. That's why things sometimes work out shit, because we're not understanding how to use that power of harmony. So it uses us, and it doesn't care if it's a good or bad result. It's got no preference. It just wants to express itself and say, hey, I'm going to get you to work together one way or the other. So it's an amazing symbol, very powerful. And it's also amazing because, like, for example, imagine now you've all got something you want to make happen and it's not. Like, let's say you've got a dream, how you want your life right now. You've got to somehow work out, how do I get everything in my life to work together to create the result I want? You know, it's like buying a car. It's like everything in that journey needs to work together. You know, the seller, the buyer, you've got to agree an amount. You know, all these kind of things need to work together to create what you want, what they want and what you want. What I would say is, in harmony, the secret of harmony, everybody in your situation has to have a win-win. So if I'm talking to Nadine and saying, hey, where do you want to go out for dinner? And she says, I want Indian, and I want Chinese. She wants Indian, I want Chinese. Now, what could happen is I could force her to go to the Indian if I want Indian, and she might go. And what will happen is she'll be upset deep down. She might, you know, she'll be aggravated, and she'll probably get her revenge, you know, subconsciously another day. Or she'll just be upset and hurt herself, you know, in that process. And vice versa. So it's about really having a win-win. And what I've experienced in relationships, the only way they really work is if everyone's winning. You know, if both parties or all parties concerned are having a win, and then that creates the best, most powerful result. And it's like, because if we think we're winning, like in a relationship, or we're getting more than the other person, or we're better off than them, it will create disharmony. It will create a bad result always. It will be harmonious in one way, meaning a bad harmony result. Like one of you's happier, one of you's not as happy, and it will create some bad result, as you all know, sooner or later, for everybody. So really, it's about like learning, how do we create harmony? How do we get a win-win? Always a win-win. Like if Nadine doesn't want to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I do, right? Think about this, right? I want to get up at 7 o'clock to go for a run, and she wants to stay in bed and, I don't know, have cuddles with me or just be with me. And it's like, oh, if I kind of just go out for the run, she's going to be unhappy. So it's going to kind of come out in her energy. We're creating a disharmony in some way. Well, we're going to create something that's not such a good energy for both of us. But having said that, if she stayed in bed, that would also not create a good result, because she would resent that somewhere in her energy. So it's like, oh, maybe we can come to an agreement of how we can do this, right? It's like simple negotiation. It's like maybe we can do the bedtime another time. You know, if you want to go for your run at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I want cuddles in bed, maybe we can arrange another time for cuddles in bed that suit Nadine. Or maybe she could say, well, actually, okay, I don't mind doing that, but then later on, I'm going to do my run. It's just finding ways that it can work together. Because in all kinds of relationship, I'm not just talking about romantic, but any kind of relationship with anything, with people, with your jobs, you know, it's got to be a win-win. Otherwise, it's going to create a negative result somewhere along the line, an imbalance. But law of polarity will always find balance again, right? And I'm sure you know in your life, sometimes when you take more than you give, there always ends up some imbalance, and something gets you back somewhere along the line to rebalance. And sometimes vice versa. So this is amazing. It's so beautiful. I mean, who doesn't want to live in life when everything's always working well together? So this is what we're going to work on today. So the mind exercise is very different to the body exercise today. The mind exercise is really looking at the polarities again. You know, a lot of you have worked with polarities in Frido, because there's more than one journey that we work with polarity, because it's such a big motherfucker of a symbol polarity. It pulls us here, it pulls us there, you know, so that's why it comes up in a few of the cards. In particular, it comes up in the heart cards, the heart symbol, the harmony family, which is this one, and the next family, which is also a heart family, which is the resistant family. Harmony and resistance, they're the two families. The polarity runs through those two families. There's always a difference though. So some of you have done polarity exercises with me where we look at the positive of the negative, right? You know those ones, the positive of the negative, then the negative of the positive, and we've done those ones and they're great. That's in the resistance family. But in this family, it's not like that. We're not looking for the positive in the negative, and we're not looking for the negative in the positive. We're treating them as equal powers, and we're treating them as equal, what's the word? Validating them for who they are. We're not trying to say to the negative, hey, you're positive. And we're not saying to the positive, hey, you can also be negative. We're not doing that in this family. We're saying, hey, you're negative and you're shit and you're fear and you're hate and you're evil. There's nothing positive about you. We're going to go even more into the negative with them because we're going to validate that negative. We're not going to try and take it out of the negative and pretend it's something it isn't. We're going to go well into it and see the negative, because negative exists, right? Don't tell me you've never experienced things where actually this is shit. This is fucking shit. I don't like it. There's nothing positive about this. And if we don't acknowledge that, we'll get trapped in it. If we don't realize actually that is really shit, I don't want to keep on breaking my arm and trying to see the positive of that. You know, I don't want to keep on making the same mistakes and keep on having to learn the positive about those negative experiences. I've had enough. You know, I don't want them now. I just want to now go positive. But in order to do that, we have to really recognize that negative is really real and it exists, and we have to honor it for what it is. So that's the mind exercise we're going to be working with. And that will create, again, some harmony within our mind to do with positive and negative energies. And then the body exercises will be more physical, and the physical expression in Frido of the positive and negatives is density, right? Density, we work with density. So I feel like in Frido, we use density as a representation of the negative. It's constricting, it's contraction, it's non-movement, you know, stuck, it's frozen, it's fear, we can't move in that energy. So it's a physical contraction. And then the opposite to that is the space card, right? Free space, goddess, divine, love, you know, spatial energy, freedom, dance, you know, kind of this kind of energy. And it's light and soft. So in the body exercise, we're going to be physically exploring those two energies, but how they work together. Not that they have to change, but how they actually work together, how you need the other. You know, the other one helps the other, so they can work, and they can actually work together to produce a great result. And then we're going to do the ritual, which is a sound ritual. It's the only one in Frido that I call a sound ritual. The only other one is the brain. We do the brain mantra, where we do a lot of that mantra with our word in different ways, angry ways, silly ways. But this one is really more focusing on sound, like music, you know, birds singing, the wind blowing in the trees. You know, when you scratch yourself, the sound you can hear from hitting your body, you know, the sound, not the words, but the sound in the word, rather than the word and its meaning. So it's more about sound. And for me, sound is the most amazing energy to create harmony. It's like water. It's a bit like water, but the difference is we can use sound. We can actually create sound. We can't create water, but we can create sound. And sound is like a vibration, but it's more than that. We can create movement with sound. We can communicate with sound. It can reach places, can't it? With sound can reach. I mean, you can hear me now. You know, you're a long way from here and we can hear each other. So sound can reach people. It can reach things. It can create harmony. It's amazing sound. So we're going to be working with that with a very unusual, funny kind of ritual, as Frido does work with. Yeah, so that's really cool. Who wants to read the poem out today? So I'm trying to give you some practice as well, some of you. Who hasn't read out the poem and who's got it in front of them that they can read out? Who hasn't read it? Anyone? Mina?
Me.
Go on then. You read the poem, so because every time you do something, I tick you off of this little list, my training list, so I can know you've done it. So I know I don't need to ask you to do that particular poem again.
Yeah.
So you guide us through the poem, like we're your students.
Yeah. I invite you all to close your eyes while I read the poem. The Journey of Frido. Something steers from deep inside. It twists and turns 1,000 times. It pulls and stretches into shape. A figure shows and moves around. A hand supports it from below until it fills and begins to grow. Building blocks are put in place until the figure is nice and safe. The figure starts to create its own, from light and darkness, vibrating tone. Birth and death begin to rise. The figure splits to compromise. The figure then creates some space. Now life and death begin their race, until the space has found a way to stabilize and have its shape. Space creates a home for all, the separation of large and small, of water and fire, earth and air, weight and lightness, cold and brightness, pain and sorrow, love and joy. Out of this space comes girl and boy. The figure has journeyed through time and space, feeling as though it has won the race, looking around only to find a universe of an amazing kind. The training's been tough, it's been testing and rough. The figure is ready, it's complete and steady. Back to the source, the figure must run. For now, the journey has just begun. You're muted, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Mina. That's beautiful. Lovely accent going on there. Lovely accent. It's a mixture of
Mauritius.
Mauritius and
Irish.
Irish.
Yeah.
Mauritius.
Mauritius.
That's lovely. I love hearing that. So I'm going to tick you
you.
off now because I know you've done that. You've done a couple of things now, so I'm ticking you off as we go along.
Thank you.
So let's do the reading of the card and let's see who can read that. Has anyone got the printout of the reading? I bet Magic has.
Me.
Magic.
Yes,
No,
I
not
have
you. You've
also.
read it already. You did it 2 weeks ago. You read the reading, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Are you sure? I've got you down as a let me see, Mina. Yeah, I've got you down as doing one of the readings. I can't remember which one.
No, I did the poem last time.
Oh, again, that's what I just said. Oh, you're such a cheater. She wants it all. Is Magic there with it or not?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let Magic have it. Mina, sorry. I know
he
you
can,
want.
No, he can
I
go
know you
ahead.
want to do it all. You want to take over, be the Frido master. She's the only one. She does the test. As soon as we put the test online, she's done it with a minute and she sent it back to me with 100%.
Oh, wow.
Such a show off. Yeah. Unbelievable. So, okay, Magic. So maybe if you want to read the card
Reading, yes.
and then we can
Okay.
tune into that.
Balance and harmony are what we are constantly striving for. Life is constant test of our ability to move in and out of balance. When we try too hard to earn money, we suddenly become unwell and find we are forced to rest. When we are polite to everybody, even when we don't feel like it, we suppress our anger and frustrations. When we over or under eat or drink, we end up being sick as our body tries to rebalance itself. Someone who is constantly happy and smiling on the outside often feels depressed and sad on the inside. The clown is a good example of this. Many famous, funny people are known to be alcoholics and manic depressants. No matter what we do in our lives, balance will always find its way.
So I'm speaking with a mute on. Sorry, could you carry on, read the affirmation and the guidance as well?
Okay. I am a perfect harmony. Keep rebalancing yourself by seeing both the negative and positive aspects about everything in your life. See if you can find a way that both can work together in order to help you on your journey.
Nice. This is a really beautiful one. So it's like, again, it's like acknowledging, purposely acknowledging the positive and negative. So if something's negative happening, force yourself to see the positive, even if you're not sure what it is or can't see it. Look for the positives to read back, to keep the balance. And if something's really, really positive happening in your life, really push yourself to look at the negative possibilities as well, like equal, because then you won't get pulled into the negative then if you've acknowledged it, because you're acknowledging it, you're allowing it a space to breathe and be there and not suppressing it. Sometimes we've got to force ourselves to find the opposites. And then once you've found them, you can say, okay, how can I work them together? That's beautiful because you're using both of them. You're not suppressing either. And they both can be used. You will never have a problem then. You'll create amazing harmony just by seeing both. But people don't tend to like to see the opposites usually, especially if you're having a positive time, like, hey, let's go and have some fun. And like, okay, see the negative in that as well. But most people don't want to look at that, but it's really important to find it. Even if you don't not sure what it is, just pretend, think, well, it could be, because everything could be. It sounds a bit weird, because some people who are all into love and light, the love and light brigade, who likes to say that, Sandy, they kind of a little bit blind. They don't like to think of the negative because they feel like they're going to manifest that, like the law of attraction. And that's okay. If you believe that and that works for you, that's cool. But that's not Frido. Frido doesn't look at it in that way. It looks at both aspects always. When I go into Aikido and we're fighting, we have to acknowledge that I could die. I could have my nose broken. I'm not going to try and hide that or not look at it because it's a real possibility. And the thing is, if I actually accept that's a possibility, I'm now equipped. I'm equipped to be more aware. It's not there to try and make me frightened or trying to get my nose broken. It's being aware that it's a possibility. So I'm aware of it. And I can take more precautions perhaps, or act a bit faster, or take the fight a bit more seriously because I'm aware that could happen. So I think it's always good to go into things with our eyes open to every possibility. And then we can't really get too disappointed because we can see every possibility and we can be more ready for whatever's going to happen. When we suppress something like the negative and then something negative happens, we're fucked because we're trying to hide it and we're not even equipped for it. We're not ready. We haven't been thinking about it. Therefore, we've had no way to kind of prepare in case that happens. I always like to think prepare for it, but if we're well prepared, it won't happen even. And if it does happen, we'll be able to handle it. And that's what's all important in Frido. Negative, it's okay. It's fine. As long as we can handle it. I don't mind a lion coming into my boat. As long as I can I've learned to handle the lion. I'll actually love the lion to come in then. So it's kind of this attitude is we can't escape life. Life's got it all. We're going to get thrown everything. Let's kind of learn about it. When we're surfing on the sea, we can't hide the dangerous currents. We can't pretend they're not there. You know, we want to kind of observe them, recognize them, so we can actually learn to not only handle them, but learn how to use them, even in, I would say, enjoy them, those kind of dangerous currents. So it's a bit challenging for some people who, especially if we're very into the whole let's get away from the dark and only look at the lights. It's a bit more challenging. And some people are the opposite. You might have known people who are stuck in the negative. They're so negative about everything, and they can't see the light. They can't see anything positive ever. They can't even think of a possibility of this could be positive, or there could be a light in this situation. And they're really stuck, you know, in depression. I'm sure Mina was feeling that at sometimes, right, Mina? You couldn't see the light in your situation.
Yes, guys, it was that. Well, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go on, share what you want to share.
Yes, I remember when I got separated from the kid's father, and the way he was, I couldn't see any light, because like for me, to be honest, like for me, the way I was grown up, I never know like what is life about, and we would just like follow the culture way and the traditions we had. But then when I got separated and came with the kids, like there was no light. I didn't know how to move, how to do anything, how to cope. So it was just like darkness, and I was suffering. I had very bad depression as well. But then this time, like again, like I should say thank you for Frido that I did see the light, and yeah, I'm still seeing the light, and I'm working towards it. I know sometimes I go crazy, but it's just that we are learning. The more we are living our life, the more we go ahead in our life to keep on learning and see. Because as we say, like we always have the light end of the tunnel. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, so Mina was a really good example of that, being lost in the dark, only seeing the dark, and you get other people who are actually lost in the light, weirdly enough. And like it sounds okay because you think, well, if you're lost in the light, that's okay because it's all good. But if you know those kind of people, you'll realize it's not all good for them. And often you don't. The same as not many people saw Mina's dark happening in her life. You know, it was hidden. She had to put on a brave face. People who are in that kind of clown, you know, love light kind of energy. Again, it's the same thing. They're hiding what's going on inside. And it's like they're showing the world only one thing because they don't want to look at the other side. So this is really important. So that's why I've gone on about it quite a lot as well. So let's do the exercise, the mind exercise, and see what we can achieve. So choose a word for your journey today. Choose a word that you want to work with. Your symbol. This is your symbol that you're working with. Give yourself a percentage. And if you need to do your kinesiology testing, test yourself, make sure that number is, the body likes that number as well, agrees with it. Remember, you're getting the mind and the body to try and agree with each other, because we are truly fucked if our mind or body is not agreeing with the other. You know that. If your body's not agreeing with your mind, or your mind's not agreeing with your body, you're screwed, because you are your mind and body, you know, of course, and soul. But, you know, these are the two big ones. The soul is, of course, equally important in Frido, and so is the spirit. But the mind and body to begin with, we can at least start getting them to agree with each other. The kinesiology testing is so powerful. Sometimes it can transfer information straight into the body, like incredible information. Remember, the power is not if you've got a high or low percentage, it's getting the one that resonates with you to your truth. of your mind and body. That's where the power is, not high or low. That's a deception. Don't think I want to be higher or I think I should be lower. It's the one that resonates with your mind and body to its most truth. And then draw a kind of a line, a bit like that. Just I never draw straight lines in Free-Do. It's always a wave, because in Free-Do nothing's ever that straight. So it's just a line across. Triangle in the middle represents your symbol, actually, the balance. You know, it's like your symbol actually holds the balance. It's the balance. It's like a seesaw. And if it's too much one side, if it's too negative or too positive, it will go out of balance. But in the universe, nothing really goes out of balance, of course. The perception is the things have gone out of balance, but nothing ever does in very, very interesting abstract ways. And and you've got the numbers there, have you, as well? So you've got like on one side, doesn't matter which side, you've got like a +1, and then a +2, a +3 on one side, and then on the other side you've got a -1, -2, -3. So this is a great way for our mind to explore the balance of negative and positive within our symbol that we've chosen. So above the +1, we would write down a positive word about our symbol. Okay, so you've got a positive word above your +1 about your symbol. And again, this is great because most people in different things, they use a system like this where they look at pros and cons. There's some systems people use, processes, where they look at the pros and cons. We do it ourselves, right? Like, should I go on holiday this year? Let's look at the pros and cons, negatives and positives. And we try and weigh up, you know, what's more pros or more cons. And that often will make our decision. And this is a bit like that, but we kind of go deeper. It takes us a little bit deeper than that, because what we then explore is this. On the +2, where you've got your +2, what's positive about your +1? So rather than the pros and cons, where we just look at all the positives of this symbol, we're not doing that only. The +1 is like looking at all the positives of our symbol. The +2 is looking at the positives about the positive of our symbol. So we're going deeper into the positives. We wouldn't always get that if we just looked at just the positives of our symbol. So what's the positive of the +1? Put a word down. And then the +3, what's the positive about the +2? Now, sometimes you could go on and on, +4, +5, +6, but we don't need to. If you do this exercise, you'll see why, but you could do in theory. I don't like to go on more than 3 usually, because I find then we get too heady. We get a bit lost. So on the -1, which is on the other side of the triangle, one thing that's negative about your symbol. So the ones are always about the symbol. The word you chose. And then the -2 is what's the negative about the -1. What's the bad thing about, well, one bad thing about -1? And notice how easy or difficult it is for you to find these answers. You'll notice how balanced or imbalanced you are and where the imbalances might be. And then the -3, something negative about the -2. Yeah, and we're going to just test now, make sure you're on the right track. So maybe Kirsty will start with, give me your line of the minuses.
of the minuses, I just started on -1.
So what's the negative of your symbol?
I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I wrote it could be the wrong choice.
Okay, so you could just put wrong. What is your symbol?
Clarity.
Clarity. Yeah, absolutely. Interesting, eh? You could be clear about the wrong choice. You think you're clear.
It's confusing because I only got 55%. So I'm writing the positive, like I know what I want, and then it could be the wrong choice. So it's not very clear. It's not really clarity. A bit confusing.
Yes, it is. I understand what you mean. You might, maybe you think you're clear, but maybe you're not. Or maybe like, you might be clear about, like, for example, I might have a goal to reach the top of the mountain. And that's my clarity. And positive thing is I get there, but the negative could be that I realize I don't want to be there when I get to the top. That could be a negative. I didn't realize. Yeah, it could be. That's good. So the negative could be that. And then what about the -2? What's negative about the -1?
It could be the
wrong choice, isn't it? You made the right. Your clarity could be the wrong choice.
Well, I'm kind of thinking about a particular situation. So it could be that I could waste money, could waste.
Yeah,
like
wrong.
waste
So making the wrong choice could be you could waste money. Yeah. And then the negative about wasting money.
Then I might not have money for something I need.
Yeah, good point. And have you seen that play out any time in your life? That kind of journey where you've made the wrong choice. You think you're clear. You've made the wrong choice. It's cost you money.
Not so much. I can't think of it with money, but I've thought I'd known something that I wanted, and then I've just wasted energy and time more than money.
Yeah. So it could be time, energy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. That's perfect. And then let's get Nadine. Give us your positive line.
My symbol is love, and positive, it opens my heart. It deeper connection, and it's powerful.
Yeah, lovely. Really nice. Okay, let's do another line. So do it again, another line. So start at +1 again, or -1. It doesn't matter which way you go. But let's say +1 and go above the last one and start again. So put another new positive about your symbol. Each line you do, you'll get different things maybe that come up.
Gary, is this for the same symbol?
Yes. Yeah, of course. This is all to do with your symbol. You're exploring the positive and negatives of your symbol in more depth. So above the +1, above the one you've already done, write a new plus about your symbol. Only the 1 is about your symbol, number 1. Mina, is that what you meant? Yeah, only number 1 is about your symbol. Number 2 is not about your symbol. It's about the ones. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah. So again, what's positive about your symbol? +2, what's positive about that +1? And +3, what's positive about the +2? It's a bit tedious, because it's a bit mental, this exercise. But you might find things in the mind that you might realize some things. And once you've done the plus side, go to the minus and do a row above the first one. And then we'll check in, see how everyone's doing. And a great example is me and my mum are good examples of this, how this works in real life, because I'm Mr. Positive and she's Mrs. Negative. And in our life, that's the thing we've always clashed with. I'm super optimistic. She's super pessimistic. Like, we're so extreme, and we constantly have arguments all our life over this. Oh, Mum, I've got a new business idea. It's great, you know, and she'll go, oh, no, don't do that. You'll lose money. I said, no, I've done a business plan and everything. Yeah, but, you know, it's like crazy. You know, I'm going to Thailand. Don't go there. There's been murders there. You know, it's all right. I'm going to go to Koh Phangan. It's nice and safe. Mosquitoes, you'll get malaria. It's like, or don't, you know, your kids will miss you. I said, so I'm going to speak to them every day. Yeah, but that's going to cost you a fortune.
And it's so bad she blocked your Facebook recently, you said as well, didn't it?
It did. She might have friended me again. I'm not sure. She checks it out every day. She might as well friend me again. I'm not sure if she has, actually. I forgot to ask her today. I saw her this morning. Went there for lunch. But over the last few years, I've been working with that. And I've actually, rather than going against it, which it used to bug me, I realized my positivity annoyed her. And in fact, I've learned over the years that my ultra positivity has got me in trouble many times. You know, I've opened up businesses for like £150,000 because I'm so optimistic, and I've lost it all. You know, I've done stupid things, so my optimism has done great things and also fucked me over as well, because I'm just so optimistic. And my mum's the opposite. And actually, by now acknowledging her negative, it's made it amazing. And I said, yeah, you know what, Mum, actually, yeah, there are mosquitoes, and yes, you can get malaria, and yes, you can die. Good point, Mum. That's a brilliant point. I'm going to take precautions. I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to take some precautions. Don't worry, Mum, I'm going to make sure I'm going to go time of year where there's not many mosquitoes. I'm going to an area where there's not known for mosquitoes that time of year. And I've got plenty of kind of natural products. I'm not going to go in the beach at 6 o'clock in the evening when the motherfuckers come out and kill you. And they literally bite through your jeans. It's like, which I experienced. But if I ignored that from my mum, I might have ended up going to a place where it was ridden with mosquitoes. I was getting bitten alive on the beach because I didn't do any research, you know, because I didn't want to hear that those things could happen. So that was a really good example for me, those experiences with my mum. And looking back through my life, actually, you know, all her negativity I should have listened to, because it would have saved me a lot of grief, a lot of wastage of money. I mean, big money, big wastage I could have saved just by hearing her out and acknowledging that, yeah, you know what, that's possible, what she's saying. Maybe I should just have a look at it and make sure I'm okay with that. If the you know, can I do anything to make myself safer and not do stupid, you know, do stupid things. So let's check in. So Magic, give me your negative, your new negative line.
So my symbol is offense, and negative is -1 is feeling guilty.
Uh-huh.
And -2 is putting me down, and -3 occupying my mind, and I have less energy.
Yeah, so you could use the word because. If you want to make it more sense to you, you could use the word because instead of minus. So do it again. So so first of all, the negative thing about what was it?
Feeling guilty.
No, the symbol.
Symbol is offense.
Offense, when you offend someone. So the negative is feeling guilty because
it's putting me down.
Because
so -2, because it's occupying my mind and gives me less, or I have less energy.
Right. Okay. So hang on. The last one. So the negative of offense, when you offend someone or something, or offense, is that number 3, where it gives you less energy.
Less energy is number 3. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So ultimately, like when you offend people, you know, when you offended someone this week, it wiped you out a bit. From a negative viewpoint, there was a negative effect, was you drains your energy a bit because you feel a bit guilty, maybe blah, blah. That's the negative possibility. Maybe that's why you were never offending people in the past, because you thought this is just too tiring. You know, I'm feeling guilty. It's draining me. It's not, it doesn't feel good. Okay. And what's the positive of that?
The positive is +1 is thoughts about the trauma, the trigger of that person, why this person reacted so to my words, you know, why just didn't ignore it. And +2 is knowing someone better, and +3 understanding their past, what happened really, why they are reacting like that.
Okay, so ultimately by offending someone, you might actually learn about them more, about their past, why they're like
Exactly.
that, why they got
Yes.
offended. Okay,
Yes.
that's nice. That's really beautiful, isn't it? That's really
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. You know, rather than being negative and draining your energy, it's actually like, well, yeah, I'm getting to know this person. I'm seeing what's going on for them.
Mhm.
That's nice. Okay. So who else we got? Harry, do you want to give us one of your negative lines?
So I chose it because I saw this cave today. Masterpiece I chose as the word because we are, aren't we? So you are,
Masterpiece.
yeah, masterpiece. Yeah. Negative. One of them is striving. So striving to be a masterpiece. That's negative, and that leads on to trying always to be a masterpiece. So trying all the time, which I don't think is very good, maybe. But then that leads on to unhappy, because if I'm always trying and striving or trying, I'm never going to be happy.
Yeah.
In a moment.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? And that's like, I've turned you on mute, Harry, because there's some interference when you're not on mute. Anyway, that's good. So yeah, that's really nice. Sometimes like it's an interesting word, what you said, striving and trying. It's like when people say that, sometimes I think, don't try. Trying is exhausting. When you try to do something, it's exhausting. Like do it or don't do it, but don't like the trying, you know, do it, don't try. It's like, that's an exhausting idea even, or striving. It's quite interesting. So it can be quite draining. Yeah, maybe. And then you've got to ask yourself the question, why? You know, why are you striving? Maybe it's not the right thing at the time. You know, maybe your soul is wanting you to go in another direction, and your mind saying, no, you know, I want to do that. And you keep on trying to get, or maybe you want fame. You've got this idea that that's what you want, and you keep on striving, to get there. But yeah, that's negative. And what's positive? I'll put you back on, come on back onto me.
Okay, so positives of masterpiece.
Yeah, one of the lines, anyone.
Yeah, progress. That's the first positive. So you're making progression, which leads to happiness, because sometimes when you're progressing, you can become more happy, or I can. And that leads on to purpose, because when I'm more happy, I feel like I'm more on my purpose.
Nice, lovely. So you see, there's a balance there. So what you might find in your life, you might find when you're doing too much of one of those, it becomes out of balance. Maybe like when you start striving, it's too much, like just too much. Or if you're trying to, you know, if you're doing really well and you're creating books and different things, you know, maybe there's sometimes you suddenly start striving and it's like, oh, this is hard now. I'm trying too hard. It's like just recognizing both, like to get that balance. But that's nice. Anyway, you've got the correct way of doing it, and then do a final row. If you haven't done it already, do one more. I like to do things in threes. Any side you want, you can start with. So just do the same again. You can start on the negatives first, on the positives, and just do your third final row. It can hurt the brain a bit sometimes, this one. And then we'll complete this mind exercise with Nadine sharing one of her sides. Right, Nadine, so you want to share one of your...
I can do, I mean, I shared already. I don't know if Mina wants to share, or I
Oh,
can
sorry.
do it anyway.
Has someone not shared? I just want to check if everyone's shared.
I think Mina haven't, but I can do it anyway. I don't mind.
No. It's I'm only checking. Asmin, have you tried it yet?
Yeah, I think I'm struggling here. My one was relationship, my symbol, and did I say the negative or the positive one? You're on mute, guys.
Sorry, darling.
Do I have to say for the positive or the negative side?
Tell me what you're struggling with.
I have no words. Yeah, my one was relationship, and the negative one side I got like the minus one is like the relationship can be hurtful, and the -2 is lack of self-love, self-care, and then the -3 is you end up getting stress and depression.
You start getting what?
Stress, depression.
Oh, okay.
And the +1 for relationship is like feel loved, be secure. Like +2 is be secure, and +3 is no fear of being lonely. And I did got 2 lines, but I can't get third line.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. You don't have to. It's just exploring it for you.
Yeah.
So that's really beautiful. So you can see, can't you? You can see how they're both possible in your relationships. They could be very negative. They have been, right? You can probably recognize some of those negatives as your journey. Can you recognize many of the positives in your relationship journeys in your life?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay. So maybe that's great, because now you're recognizing what they can be.
Yeah.
And also you've also recognized, you've learnt the hard way how bad they can be as well. So, and that's why when you met that guy last year, I remember you changed. You said, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. And look what you did with your ex-husband. You know, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. And you didn't. You went to court last year. You sorted him out. He didn't take the piss anymore. You know, you actually saw, because you've experienced that negative. You thought, no, I'm not going to put up with that anymore.
Yeah.
Instead of living in hope, you know, like that he'll change or something, you took action because you're aware of that already, that you had to learn all that. But wouldn't it be nice to know it already without having to go through it again and again?
Oh, yes.
You know, we don't actually have to go through it all. You know, we can go through it in a little bit to get a flavor. But if we're aware of it, we don't have to go through the real thing. If we can kind of understand that side, and we can take our body through some kind of sensation experience of that negative side, we don't actually have to live it in real life. And now you're recognizing the positive a little bit more. And that's nice. You know, I can understand why you don't believe in the positive as much, because you only think the negative exists. And you're quite right. You're quite right to look out for those red flags. And when you go on your date tonight, you're so aware of a negative relationship, you'll be aware of the red flags. You know, they'll be shouting at you, and acknowledge them. Say, hey, this is not something to not see. It's to be aware of. And then if you decide to go further, at least you're aware of those possibilities. But as you get more insightful, you'll start to realize, actually, this relationship, I'm not going to go on a second date, because I can already sense what's happening here, what this person's going to be like early on. So it gives you a lot of power. Yeah. And then the positive is beautiful, right? Because if you can have a relationship with all those positive becauses, love and self-love and joy and connection and security. I mean, that's why people go into a relationship most of the time, because they're looking, they can feel those, maybe they've experienced them before, maybe they've never have, and they maybe they just want it, they desire that, so they're trying to go for that all the time. But that's also beautiful, because that shows you the possibility of what relationship can bring you, as long as you're not blinded by the other side and you're aware that that also can happen. Yeah, because often things are, the problem is if we don't acknowledge the negative, it often is too late. Not too late, but it gets later and later, and it gets harder and harder then to deal with it. As you know, when the negatives start creeping in every day, a bit more every month, by the end of the year, it's so messed up, the relationship, you're so entwined in it, it's hard to get out of. Often it will end up not nice, not a nice breakup, and it can be very damaging. But if you're aware from day one of all these possibilities, you become much more aware, and also you've got more chance of changing those things early on before they get too complex. So if somebody's showing any kind of abuse, for example, if someone raised your hand on the second date or was angry at the waitress, you might think, right, that's because I've never been angry at a waitress. So that's a sign already for someone to already show that early on in a relationship. It's part of who they are. And it's like, okay, I just want to bring up to you, that's not acceptable. If you're, I don't want that behavior. If you want to be angry, hit a pillow, or do some counseling to sort out whatever this is coming from, or have some rationality behind it that I can accept why you shouted at that waitress. But I'm not going to just ignore it. And if I'm not happy with, at that point, I haven't got too entangled in it. I can say, well, he might respond and say, I don't need a counselor. Nothing wrong with me. That waitress was a bitch or whatever. And you think, okay, I'm going to leave now. This is the point. I'm not going to go further. Anyway, that's really cool. Did anyone else get anything particular from that they just want to share? Anything that kind of was strong?
I just like to share that how it was the same words, but they're the opposites almost. -1s, +2s, +3s. So masterpiece was the word, but the +1 and the -1 was achievement. And on the plus, achievement is validation from others, could be an aspect of it. +2 and +3 means more money, maybe. But then on the minus, it was achievement, which is validation from others. But then the negative is that you'll be unhappy because you're not really getting validation from yourself and what you're doing. It's very more miserable. But it's the same words, more or less, but all over the place. Got minus and plus.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we find with polarity. It's like yin yang. If you go far enough into one side, you'll see the other side. Like there's never, like if you go into the dark, there's always light in there. So what you've just observed by doing that exercise, there's actually the same word can be negative and positive. And that's the bizarre thing. Yeah. And that's beautiful because it can free your mind. It's like, actually, it's all positive and negative. Everything I do. And that's so freeing. It's the most freeing thing for me is knowing everything is positive, and it can be positive and negative. It can be. It's amazing. It's like, wonderful.
Can I just say,
yeah.
Yes, over the word clarity, and actually I want to get clarity on something, but this is making it difficult because I've got like the same amount of positives and negatives. So I don't know how to find the clarity.
Okay, so yeah, wait a minute. You just said you filled them both in, have you? Both sides?
Yeah, so I did like the positives and the negatives. And now they're quite balanced, like it's positive and it's negative. So I don't know how to get this clarity. Okay,
that's quite interesting. What you've done is you've explored part of clarity. You've explored the negatives and positives of clarity in this exercise, and you've realized, is there a problem in one of them? Was it harder to find the negatives or positives for you?
It was a bit harder to find the negatives.
Right, yeah. So that's perfect. So what you've done now is you found them, and now you've got balance. Before you did this exercise, you might not have seen those negatives in your real life, in your real clarity in your life. You might just see clarity as being positive. You might have seen the positives of clarity in your life and not observed there can be negatives there as easily. So you wouldn't focus on them. Now, You've done that. You've looked at both. So next time you go into your life and you need to be, you want to be, you see the clarity of something, you might be now more aware of the negatives. And that might change your behavior or your action. I mean, give me an example. Give me an example in the past where you think you've got clarity and it's positive. It's like, yep, that's really positive. I'm going to do that. And it turned out not so good, let's say.
Yeah, when I was going to go on to do some volunteering work, I thought, yeah, I'm definitely going to do it. And then
exactly. So you had clarity, you were clear. This is it. This is going to be amazing. I can see all the positives about doing this. And then you got there and suddenly there were some negatives that you didn't see, that were not clear in some way. So its clarity is a weird one. It's like you only see in half of clarity. You're not seeing all of it, right? You didn't see the negative of it. So you didn't have 100% clarity. You only could see the positive of what you could see. You could only see the positive of clarity to begin with. And then when you went closer, you got closer to it, you could see the negative. Suddenly, now you've got clarity. You've got 100% clarity of that situation now, because you can see both. And by seeing both, you make a decision, don't you? That influences your decision. What was your decision?
Not to go. Not
to go. But that's brilliant. But how cool would it have been as well if you could just have seen that to begin with, and you would have been clear, like saying, yeah, I can see the great things about that, but I can see the bad things. And it's like, okay. And then you look, so you don't waste time. You look for something else that actually, when you get there, it's exactly what you want. It's not to say you wouldn't go there. Seeing the negative doesn't mean you still wouldn't go. You might still go, but you're going because you're making it based on your clarity. You can see both sides, and you might still decide to go, right? In a relationship, it might be you could see negative in a relationship and positive, but you might still decide to enter it because you don't mind. You can accept negative is possibility and positive. And then you might go still. You might have still gone and lived in the community, but you would have been aware of both sides. And then you've got power then of choosing all the time, saying, actually, I'm going to stay here. I know and the thing is, if this is the interesting thing. See, now you've done stage 1, right? If you think about that journey, you saw the community as a positive. You went there and now you saw the other side also, the two sides. Now, the next level is to decide whether you can get them to work together. Because there's negative and positive in everything, you going away from that situation because now you've seen the negative. Oh, I'm going to run away from this because now I've seen it's negative. Recognize that there's negative in everything. You can't run away anymore. It's like, because you're just going to run into another negative somewhere else. That can explain sometimes things about our life. Like, oh, I keep on, as soon as things get negative, I go away and I go to something else. And then that gets negative and then I do it again. And the same pattern occurs because we just want to focus on the positive we want to experience. But the advanced level is recognizing there's both always in everything. It's like, how can we get them to work together? That's the real secret. We don't need to run away anymore. We just got to decide, can we get them to work together? If we can't, then maybe we're just not ready for that situation. It's too difficult for us. So we might find something else that's a bit easier. And that's fine, to do that. But I think it's just recognizing, can we, they exist in all our situations. Can we get them to work together? If I'm going to be in a situation that's just too negative, like it's just too negative, I'm not ready for that. I'm not Bob. If I was Bob, I would do it. I'd go and live in one of his realities where it's all crazy. And I couldn't handle that. It's not my choice. It's not that I can't handle it. It's just not my choice. Sometimes we can handle things. When we can see the negative and positive, and we can also see how we can get them to work together, we can decide whether we want to do that or not. We still might choose to change or not to go there, but we have the power. we can decide, well, I can make this cake, you know, and it's fattening, you know, negative, it's going to put on weight, but it's going to be tasty. And I can do that. That's cool. Or I can do something else. I can go for a run, negative, positive. I can do that. It just comes to the choice then of deciding. It's like a game. It's like one's not better than the other. It's just a choice. It's like, I'm just going to go there. I can stay in my boat today and enjoy. I can go out for a walk and enjoy. I can stay in my boat and be miserable. I can go for a walk and be miserable. It's like, it just, once we're aware of both sides equally, it gives us just choice. There's harmony. When I split up, I think I've told some of you this story, maybe, I don't know, sorry for boring you if I have, but my ex-wife, my first wife, when we were going to split up, and I was deciding whether we should split up for myself or whether I should try and make a go of it. And I was driving home from work thinking about it. And I was kind of thinking, well, on one side, you know, I don't like to give up on a marriage, you know, that's negative, right? Giving up is negative. My kids are involved. It'd be negative for me to leave them. You know, we built up something. We've had 18 years together. And the positive of staying together, you know, we can make it work. We can go to counseling, you know, we can do it. So I was suddenly kind of looking at those two situations about staying. Then I was kind of thinking, yeah, but you know what? If I left, I could have a new life. I could have new opportunities. It could be okay for the kids. Yeah, the negative, it could be a bit scary. I've got to find a new place, more money. So I'm now suddenly seeing the negative and positives in both stories, options. And then I suddenly realized, actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter actually which one I do. I'm going to be faced with the same challenges and the same opportunities in both situations. I realize there's no difference, zero. I'm not better off in one or the other. And as soon as I realized that, I suddenly realized it, and it was like, oh, I'm leaving. It was like so clear, I can't explain. It was like my body and mind just said, I'm leaving. I didn't need to question it anymore. It was 100% clarity. Even today, I could say, was it the right thing or the wrong thing? Doesn't matter. They both would have been perfect because I had to make a choice, right? I couldn't do both exactly. So I just made a choice and I was clear about it, so clear. And from that moment, it was perfect. Every moment in that split up was perfect because I was never, ever arguing in my mind. Is this the right thing to do? Am I doing the right thing? Is it or getting worried about my new journey? Because I was aware of the negatives and they were both okay and they were both not okay. And that gave me an incredible feeling of freedom. And I just went for the one which was, well, I had no control. I just went that way. It was like, bang. It was almost like my head and body stepped out the way and my soul just went in and moved. And you can't argue with your soul. It's like, it's not rational. It's just not rational. My mind or my body doesn't understand my soul's purpose. So I just had to go with it and trust and it was, looking back over those last 12 years, it's been the most magical journey in my entire life. It's been incredible. The best thing I ever did. And my kids are amazing. You know, I was worried at the time, but, you know, looking back again, the whole journey of my kids has been the best thing. They've had a wonderful 12 years. My ex-wife's fantastic. She's remarried. She's happy. She's living where she wants to live. So it's amazing when the soul goes in the right direction. Perfect. So this is really about getting our head, mind and body, this exercise to harmonize with themselves. So we're not causing conflicts within ourselves. Then our soul comes in and moves. You know, you split up from your partner, is perfect. You stay together, it's perfect. You know when you're in harmony because it's all, you know, the harmony that you want. Remember, it's always harmony. It's either bad harmony or good harmony sometimes, but you know when it's what you want because you're somehow the harmony is creating what you want. So we're going to move on to the, anyone else just want to share? Thanks, Kirsty, for that sharing. That's great. It's really good having live stories where you can kind of have an example.
Can I add something? So what you're saying, Gary, I relate to that. Like whenever relationships, friendships, and things I'm doing, big or small moves, I'm always thinking the positive and negative. And a lot of the negative are short term, but then sometimes the positive, and there might be less positive, but they're more long term. So they provide more long term satisfaction. So with me, if there's a little bit, like on a scale of like 50-50, if it's like 51% positive and 49% negative and it's quite close, I'll still stay with that thing, like do that move or whatever, or do that big move, even there's a lot of negative to it. Like as long as there's like a little bit more on the positive scale than the negative scale, even though that means it implies a lot of negative or uncomfortable feelings and emotions. I feel that's how I roll. I don't know. But if it is like 51% negative and a little, like it's the other way, like mostly just a little bit more negative than positive, then I'll just won't do that move or whatever.
Oh, I saw you.
That's with people and it's with business and all the stuff I think, or go even like, you know, attending, because I'm quite, you know, like attending events, like, you know, I'm socially anxious and stuff. I think like, well, I'm going to be socially anxious and all this stuff at the beginning. It's uncomfortable at the beginning, but then the feeling I get after it is so much like really good. So I put up with some short-term negative emotions of, oh, you've got to meet new people, people are going to see you, you've got to, you know what I mean? Like that's an example of it. But it's everything, friendships, relationships, everything, how I do the balance thing.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because yeah, that's right. You go for the balance, which is the problems we get with that system is when it's equal. When it's equal positive and negative, we can't, and we're going around the houses trying to find more pros or more cons, you know, to kind of tip us into making a decision. And the worst ones is when we can't make a decision because we keep on coming up with positives and then negatives, and they keep on kind of fighting against each other. The thing is with the mind can go on forever. It can find 1 trillion positives and 1 trillion negatives. So sometimes people get really stuck because they keep on going to find more negatives and find more positives, and they go around in circles. And sometimes I think for me, it's having the realization, once we realize there's equal, then it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know, the social anxiety, like if you're thinking, should I go, should I not go? It's like, it doesn't even matter anymore, because what you will do will be perfect. You know, you'll stay at home, it'll be perfect. You don't know because you didn't do that. You went and it was fine. You know, you justified your reason for going, you know, because you're focusing on the positive. You think, yeah, I went and there was some positives, but ultimately it doesn't matter even. It really has no difference once you realize they're both everything's the same. That's why Bob, you know, he can do his boring job and he's still living the dream. He can be in a chaotic relationship and he's still living the dream because he's got that understanding. No, it doesn't matter to him where he is, who he's with, what he's doing. It's all exactly living his dream. Anyway, okay. We'll move on a bit, otherwise we'll be stuck here a little bit too long, but we can share at the end for those of you who haven't shared. Let's go into the body now. Kirsty's thinking, yeah. So this is a really good body exercise. So start off in a standing position. And we're going to be working with the negative to begin with. So stiffening up, in other words. So the negative in the body is contracting, let's say. And try not to think of it as the mind negative, like it's not a bad thing or good thing. It's just a sensation. So start stiffening up your body, like, you know, slowly, different parts of your body. You can practice if you want, just little parts of your body, stiffening your hands, or give it a little stiffen up, and then a bit more your legs. And don't worry if they relax a bit. You're not trying to relax them. You're trying to kind of get into the stiffer kind of energy. So keep on stiffening and contracting and getting that sensation of kind of contraction. You know, your nose, your eyebrows, just gently work through your body in your own way and in your own time. And sometimes people like to do like quick stiffens, or some people like to do very slow and hold the stiff, hold the body in that kind of contraction. But it doesn't matter, you know, just kind of gently explore this stiffening kind of energy. So we're kind of going in to the body. We're tightening the body. It feels a bit weird because, again, most people think that's a negative thing, but we're experiencing this in a different way now. Yeah, and start getting more and more stiff And very carefully, as you're stiffening up, now feel your whole body getting stiffer and stiffer. And tighter, like less space, more contraction. Obviously, you can still breathe. I don't want anyone passing out on us. But, you know, your lungs are contracting a bit. So, yeah, your breath might be a bit harder to breathe, slower to breathe as everything's squeezing together. And then as you're getting really stiff, start to very slowly move towards the ground, but very slowly. But as you're moving down, get stiffer and stiffer. So keep on working on the stiffness. So it's harder and harder for you to move down. Like it's really difficult to move down. It's like you're the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz, and you've got no oil in your joints. And it's like really difficult to move your body down because it's so stiff. But you are moving it, but you're stiffening at the same time. So it's kind of you're challenging yourself to move down. But you can move. You're just getting stiffer and stiffer as you're moving closer towards the floor. And eventually get in a position where you're kind of, you know, on your tummy or back, you're lying down on your tummy, actually. So eventually you're going to be lying on your tummy, but slowly go down, keep stiff as you can and keep on stiffening. For those of you who have eventually got down on your tummy, you're lying flat. When you're ready, keep the stiffening as much as you can. And when you can't do it anymore, you can begin to relax, but go as much as you can. Stiffen as much as you can. Try and wait until we're all ready to go to change. If you can. If you can't, don't worry. Yeah, so in the next few seconds, make sure you're all lying on the floor. If you've had to speed up the process a little bit. Of course, in your own time, you can take longer to do this. And then give yourself a final stiffen everything in your body, maximize it as much as you feel like you can anyway. And then when you're ready in your time, then begin slowly relaxing the body and start to relax the muscles. We're going to go the other way now. So we've gone down very stiff and dense, and now we're going to start to lighten up. Before we start getting up, we want to lighten our body, relax our body. We're going the opposite way now. So we're going into the positive energy, the light energy, the space energy. Begin to relax every muscle in your face, in your neck, in your toes. Go through your body, your organs. Imagine that each organ now is relaxing and it's having more space. Your body's feeling kind of looser and softer and more comfortable. And your breath and your lungs begin to relax. They can move more freely, more easily. And as you start getting lighter, start very, very gently and slowly moving yourself back up again. But as you're moving up, get lighter and lighter and lighter. Keep on relaxing and relaxing more and more as you start moving up. Even though your muscles might contract a little bit when you're standing, but try and loosen and relax and be lighter, almost like your air. If you can, keep on trying to do that, lightening and relaxing every muscle in your body, all your organs, your nerves, and you become lighter and lighter, and it becomes a bit easier as you're kind of lifting. You're allowing your muscles and body easily to lift you up. And of course, you've still got to lift up. Of course, there's contraction going on, lifting up, but you're trying to keep it light as possible. And then eventually, you're going to come right up, standing up again. And just slightly speed up the process a bit, keep lighter, speed up the lightness until you're standing up now, and start to move around the room a little bit, getting lighter and lighter as you're moving. Relax more and more. Keep on relaxing, but moving a little bit faster, but lighter, easy, almost like you're drunk and it's no effort. And now kind of keep on speeding up. But as you're speeding, get lighter and lighter, easier and easier. and start to kind of dance around if you want to, and as you're dancing, stay lighter and lighter, more relaxed. As you dance more, you relax more. It's like you're nothing. There's no effort at all. It's zero. It's like zero effort. As you're moving, your muscles are getting even lighter and more relaxed. And your breath in your lungs, they're getting easier and lighter, more spacious, more movement in your body, in your muscles. And then just finally, kind of really just for the last 10 seconds, speed up maximum speed, but maximum lightness as well. It's kind of, you're just a light, you're an atom, just like dancing in the universe. And you can go anywhere, there's no resistance. It's like just, wow. It's like light, speed of light. So fast light is. So that's nice. And then we can do a variation. You can choose an object now. Find an object to represent your symbol. And you can hold it in your hand. And just start moving with it. Like moving with it together. So imagine there's like another person. And you're just moving together. If it moves one way, you go with it. If you're moving one way, it goes with you. Kind of take turns leading and following. It's almost like you're both doing what you want. You're both kind of leading and following at the same time. You're harmonizing with each other. And then when you're ready, come back to the space and we'll do the final ritual. So, I mean, you could spend obviously longer on that, the body one, if you want to, but we're not really doing a proper journey, just to give you a feeling, a flavor of that. But I would advise doing that for longer. But we're going to go into the ritual, which is the harmony sounding. So what I want you to do is imagine your symbol is making some noise, right? So what kind of noise? Use your surroundings to make some noise, to sound your symbol, like how your symbol would like to express itself through sound. Would it want to bang on the table, or would it want to make a smooth noise? So you can choose different things around you in your space, like a drum kit or a guitar. Use your space as your instruments and just start playing. It might not be very good for some people, you know, it might be weird if you've never played a book or played a toothbrush or something like this, but just play with the sounds and try and connect it with your symbol. It's like, oh yeah, this is my symbol expressing through sound. Now, how would love sound? How would whatever symbols you've chosen, how would they sound? And it might not make sense. It doesn't matter. You're just being creative. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to just play with some sound for my symbol here. Or it's like you're making a song for your symbol as well. You're making a tune for it. So, oh yeah, that's a nice tune for my symbol. That's it. She's starting playing with external sound, external things. And you know, if it was a different symbol, it'd probably sound a bit different. You know, if your symbol was a different, like fear, it might be a different sound. Or if it was like joy, it might be a different sound, or communication. So everything's got its own unique way of sounding. So although it might sound a bit weird what you're doing, it's like, no, but this is the sound my symbol's making. With practice, you can actually get really good at this. Your symbol can create a whole beautiful symphony, like a music piece for itself. It's just exploring sound externally. This is external sound. And then we're going to play with internal sound. So start playing your own body now. using your body as an instrument. So you can use your voice if you want, but don't say any words, but you can make sound, or you can use, you know, just different scratching or rubbing or clicking, punching. Sometimes different punching makes a different sound. Slapping different parts of your body will have a different sound. It's like a drum kit, you know, different parts of your body will be slightly different sound. Or if you punch with the palm of your hand or your fingertips, it will have a different sound. And just really tune into your symbol and play, just sound as your symbol. You know, maybe bang your feet on the floor, you know, just using, well, it's more about using your body really, but trying to get sound from your body. And the voice is really a good one here, big one. You know, as you do different shapes with your mouth, you'll get different sounds coming out. If you put your tongue in different places in your mouth and try and say something, it will come out different. And use different parts of your throat to get the sound coming out of. That's language, isn't it? Language is just using different shape. And that's nice. And feel into your symbol. Feel into the sound of your symbol. This is the sound of your symbol, in fact. It's like a sound of a baby. When a baby, like when my children were born, they all sounded different. They sounded different. They sounded unique. Your symbol sounds unique. It doesn't matter how it sounds. It's just the sound it's making. And what's beautiful is the more we practice this ritual, the better the sound becomes. We start to become really good. Our symbol becomes really cool at sounding, becomes a really cool musician. And as we all know, the tone of someone's voice is a powerful way to communicate. You know, how we talk, the tone of our voice, the length of our words, and the speed, and the tempo. It's all important factors about how we communicate to things in our life. And how we receive communication also. And how we communicate to our symbols. So we're developing our communication skill here as well. Because if we can communicate to our symbol, like to our symbol of love or money, we can get it to do things that we want. Because we can communicate to it. We know what it wants, and we know how to communicate to it. If someone tells you to do something and it feels so good when they tell us, you know, it sounds so nice. It's like, I really like that sound. It feels good. We'll kind of want to do it more. Okay, when you're ready, players one now, just have a little explore. You can play yourself or the outside. Just now kind of do a little, your last sort of minute of sounding your symbol, a combination of yourself and your surroundings. You've got all your instruments outside you. You've got them, your body's also an instrument, and you can combine them together to make this beautiful sounding or not, or ugly sounding as well. See what we're doing? We can create a horrible noise or beautiful noise, but the point is we're learning how everything works together to either create something horrible sounding or very beautiful sounding. We're mastering how to harmonize ourselves through sound in this case. And sound is talking to our body. When we're hitting our body or touching it, using it as an instrument, our symbol is actually communicating to our body through that that sound, that vibration. It sounds a bit weird, it's a bit complex, but it's amazingly powerful. Sound does exist in the universe. Even when we breathe, you can hear a sound, can't you? And you're yawning. That's why when you yawn, it sounds so good. It sounds, it's beautiful, right? The sound feels good. It's got a vibration of its own. It can magnify our feelings. If we're angry, it's like, the sound can magnify our feelings through our body. And when you're ready, you can just you can carry on as long as you want, but those of you who are finished can gently bring yourself back to the normal. The normal boring. Wouldn't it be great if you could just live your life just doing all these rituals every day, going on the train, shaking or dancing or sounding or mantraing or acting like a child or an old lady? It'd be hilarious. Or just sitting there in just silent or peace, just playing with being able to explore however you want to be, your different symbols. Could be a lot of fun. Okay, so so at the end of that journey that we've done today, first of all, let's look at the learning. So choose a learning. So when I'm normally teaching people or facilitating the Frido, before sharing too much, sometimes I share some of the exercises during or after, but it can make it really long. It's good to do, but it can sometimes make it a bit long and get lost. So sometimes I try to get to the end before the final sharing, where people then can share and review. So learning, your final learning, affirmation, your final learning, one key learning for your whole journey today about your symbol or about harmony or about what you've done, whatever comes to you, it doesn't matter. We're only looking for one, the best one.
My battery just died.
Oh, Nadine's battery's died. She's come into the room. Hi, Nadine. So there she is. So, yeah, your key learning. And then make that into your affirmation, your learning affirmation. You guys know that already. You've been doing that quite a long time. So then change it into your learning affirmation. That's the key. Forget the learning. That's just to get your learning affirmation. That's the powerful one. We don't need to keep on going on about learning. Oh, I learned this yesterday, or I learned that. We just want to be growing. So the learning affirmation is the one we want to be focusing on, because that's the thing that's helping us grow. So the whole journey we've done today is the affirmation you want to be sticking in your brain for your mind. So if you can learn anything from a Frido journey, just get the affirmation. Get that stuck in your head. And then the action. They're the two most important things of the whole journey, is the affirmation and then your one action you're going to carry out. It sounds really simple because it is, but how hard is it to remember the affirmation, to maybe practice the affirmation and also do the action? The action is the most important thing. It's like I'm sitting at the swimming pool for the first time and I got my affirmation, yeah, I can swim. I'm a great swimmer. I'm a great swimmer. I'm a great swimmer. It's like, if I don't bloody get in the swimming pool and swim, it's like, that's pointless. I haven't learned how to swim. I've just got my mind to believe I can swim, which is great, but my physical reality, I still can't swim. So the action is really, it's the hardest thing to do, because we want to think, oh, I've done this course, I've done the Frido course, yay, I'm really good now. It's like, I learned so many things. It's like, but I haven't changed anything though in my life. Nothing's changed. So get the affirmation and then do the actual physical test. They're the two key things. It's like when I became a hairdresser, once I did that final test, it took me to another level because I was qualified. I could do it. I didn't need to think I'm a student anymore. I passed. So as an accountant or a yoga teacher, once you did that final test and you prove that you can do it, you can teach one class and you get the qualification, you never look back. You never ever look back and think, oh, can I do it? Do I have to go back again and start learning? No, I'm now on another level. I'm on a teaching level. So it's the same thing with the practice. So when you do that action, you can never look back. Once you've learned to ride the bike, once you've proved it to yourself once, that's enough. It's enough to know you can do it. And then you do something else. You learn something else. So get your actions down there and try and focus on that. Try and do it. You don't have to. Sometimes through the free dough, it's already done, you know, but this will definitely help. And then give yourself a percentage, final percentage. I got a couple of people on the retreat this time who Harry witnessed. They had the issue when they had the percentage to get at the end. They said, yeah, but I haven't changed my percentage, Gary. Why? Because they haven't proved it. They're still sitting in the workshop. So they can't say they've learnt more. So this is a bit of a shame. And I tried to explain, I didn't want to sort of pressurize people, but that's an old way of thinking. It's like, yeah, but hang on a minute. You've mentally learned something, yes or no? Therefore, you know more. Maybe it's on a mental level that you know more, and you don't know more because you haven't gone out and proven it. I said, but mentally, you might have learned more, therefore you know more. So that's important to validate, of course. Otherwise, mentally, your mind would think you haven't learned anything. Your mind will literally go outside of the workshop and think, I've learned nothing. So that's important. And then some people get a body shift. Some people actually feel like their body's shifted and something, their body knows something different. But usually that's people who are much more into their bodies. They can sometimes sense a shift, like a new knowledge that's gone in there. So we're going to do our final sharing. Yeah, because we're going to share up and go off. So who wants to go? Kirsty, you want to go first? If you need to leave, because it's I know it's 5 o'clock, so some of you might want to go quickly. If you can just go whenever you want. You don't have to say goodbye if you don't want to, but I'll be here to the end. So Kirsty, give your final sharing.
Yeah, I'm finding it a little bit difficult to get the affirmation. I put for the learning, for clarity, explore the positive and the negative.
So the affirmation would be, what do you want it to be? What do you want your brain to believe about that learning?
That the negative and the positive can work together.
Yeah, make that even more powerful. Short, like 3 or 4 words. Like how you want it to be. If you could be God and what would you make those words read?
Life is harmonious.
Oh, okay, that's nice. That's nice. See, exactly. So it could be that. I was thinking when you said that, I was thinking like negative and positive work together, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's like what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Or like you've said, it's also, it's beautiful. So that's really nice. Whatever one resonates with you. And then yeah, anything else? I'll shut up.
Yeah, that's what I don't know what, I haven't got the action yet.
Okay, that's important. It's important because imagine you've never gone in the swimming pool and now you finally said, I can swim, but you don't know what to do still. It's you're sitting on the side of the pool and you still don't know what to do because no one's told you to get in the pool. You've got to figure it out yourself. So you've got to figure out life is harmonious. What do I do with that now? What am I going to do in my life to prove life is harmonious? Like give yourself something you can do to prove it. whether that's making a meal, whether that's confronting somebody, whether it's making a plan, whether it's going to sleep, whether it's doing yoga now, I don't know. Like, it could be anything where you can prove life is harmonious.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm gonna like ask a question and try and make a decision from ask a question each day, and then decide using this positive and negative thing.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Okay, I'm excited to hear about that. Yeah. Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? Otherwise you'll be sitting at the side of the pool forever. It's like, so it's so important to come up with actions that we can put into practice.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone else? Who's next? Magic, I know it's late for you there. Maybe he's gone to bed. Magic.
Good night, Magic.
Good night, Magic. Throw a bucket of water out, a few snakes or lizards. Magic, where's he gone? All right, we'll come back to Magic. So Mina, you want to share? Final share?
I'm not going yet.
All right, Harry?
Yeah. So my learning is I am a masterpiece, and if I'm a masterpiece, there is no right or wrong. All is good with me, even if it doesn't feel like it. So that's nice to remind myself.
Nice.
And my affirmation is I am a masterpiece. And by action, I thought I changed it, but the last action maybe is when I do yoga, and I'm not consistent with it every day. I used to be, but every time I do it afterwards, I do feel a bit like I'm perfect and all is good in the world. So I'm gonna do yoga again. Well, I keep going in and out, but I'll do it today, and I just feel really like a masterpiece after I do it.
Beautiful. Yeah, lovely.
Thanks.
That feels good. I know it's a bit complex, this journey, so that's cool. Magic. I bet he's falling asleep. Magic, if you're there, come back to us when you want. Oh, there he is. Look. Wakey,
Yes,
wakey. Good morning.
Yeah, I just came. So yeah, so I came to some kind of weird conclusions.
That's no surprise. What you?
That offending someone can be empowering. This is some kind of new feeling which I get from this exercise, and I can imagine like a rude people have these feelings most of the time. So because when I embody this kind of feeling of offense, it actually give me this thoughts that it is not really negative, yeah, because you can get lots of positive stuff out of it. And if you are using this in a way which can gives you some kind of thoughts and realizations to fix something or to decide to make a decision, it's actually a really good thing. But I can imagine also you can use it offense in the negative way, but still somehow it is empowering. So I don't really get this because this is some kind of new feeling which I just now experience. And yeah, I don't really know how to approach this yet, but my percentage went up to from 50 to 80% about the offense. And yeah, I think I need to process this somehow now.
Cool. Thanks, Magic.
Yeah.
That's nice. Beautiful. I got that. Yeah, really good. You suddenly really recognizing the benefit of offense. You've only really seen the negative in the past. Now you're seeing the other side of it as well. So that's really cool. So it can be both. Absolutely. Very good. Okay. Who have we got? Yeah, Mina.
I think I don't know. My symbol was relationship, and I can't get an affirmation. I got the action all right.
Yeah.
To look for the red flag before it's too late. But I can't get the affirmation. I don't know because.
What was the learning? What have you learned?
that relationship is not always bad.
Okay. Not always. No, it's not always bad.
Well, it's always for me. Wow.
Well, that's a good one. Actually, what you just said there, Frida would say relationship is always bad and always good. That's what Frida would look at in this exercise. Remember, all. It's all bad and it's all good.
Of course.
It can be at the same time. Depends on which one you choose, but it's important to recognize they both exist. And that gives you the power to choose then.
Okay, then relationship is all good and bad.
Oh yeah, that's nice, isn't it? That's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Relationship is
Does
all
that feel good for you?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a release. It's like it's all good and bad.
good and bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anything else you want to share?
And my percentage was 20 because I have no clue about relationship anyway. And I came to 30 because again, like I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe because I didn't really have a great relationship, so maybe I have to wait and see how it goes later on. And my action, I had in my mind, my action will be keep going and date and find out. But no, it's not. It's to look for the red flag before it's too late.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all good. It's all giving you
Yeah.
good stuff you can use. And going from 20 to 30%, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's 50%. Going from 20 to 30, you've increased by 50%. Half of 20 is 10. So you've actually gone up 50%. So that's a huge amount, you see? So you're actually doing a lot better than your mind's thinking. That's your negative, seeing it as a negative, but I see that as a 50%. So
I think the exercise we did about the +1, +2, it kind of like gave me a little bit of knowledge as well that it can be good.
Yeah.
It's not because I didn't have the good side at all. Doesn't mean it's all bad. Well, yeah, maybe we'll try and see how it goes.
Well, we look forward to hearing next week. And Nadine, thank you. Nadine, what have you? Anything you want to share?
I don't know. Do I need this thing?
What thing? Oh, it's no. They can hear you through this. There's this. I can hear through that
because I cannot hear you. There's something wrong with the speaker, so it only works with the headphones. But if you hear me, then
yeah, they're just saying you're stupid, you're an idiot.
I will listen to the video.
Gary's much better than you. Harry said that.
So, shut up. Yeah. So hi Ariana. Cute. Nice to see you. When we did the love exercise, it was actually interesting. It was quite easy for me to find the positives and negatives. Then when Gary said, let's do it a third time, then I thought, oh, I cannot think of anything else. So I was thinking about doing it with self-love. And then the negative was quite hard to find negatives about self-love. But then I came up with arrogance and selfish and consideration. So I really struggled with this part of the exercise. So I thought, yeah, there's definitely, I should definitely work on those, the negative about self-love. And
what do you mean about consideration being negative of self-love?
So it doesn't consider other people.
Oh.
So that was the -3. If you're selfish, you don't consider other people. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah, so my learning was I care about myself, and what I want to do is I do something nice for myself this week.
Okay. Nice, look at that. I just want to show one of my top students. She's very, look at that. She's like German. Yeah, so German, really good, organized. It's like amazing. So that was cool. That was good, Nadine. I can hear that a lot. Yeah. And I wrote a little blog on Facebook about relationships and selfish versus selfless. And that came up a lot. So that kind of resonated with me a lot. I'm going to write a little sort of bigger blog on it, because I think this is really key to successful relationship, or the failure of relationships, and not just romantic ones, but, you know, with your kids, family, friends. And it's this selfish versus selfless balance, to get them both working together. And sometimes if I sometimes notice too much selfish becomes like very inconsiderate to the other person, and kind of it's not healthy, you know, for the whole relationship, in fact. And then being too selfless also isn't healthy. It's like trying to get that balance of both, and actually it's trying to get them to work together, like in harmony. Can you be selfish and selfless at the same time? So that would, for me, that would be, it's the ultimate. So when I've got an example, when I buy my child a gift, I'm being selfless by giving it to her because I'm giving her a present, but I'm being selfish because I love giving her gifts. So I'm getting so much joy out of that. So even if she didn't like the gift, or not even need me to give her a gift, I love giving her the gift. So if we can get away where we're doing things for other people, but that serve us at the same time, like I might give you a massage and you like that, but I give it to you in a way that I'm enjoying giving it to you. Then I'm being selfish in one way because I'm serving myself, I'm enjoying it. And then you're enjoying it, I'm giving it to you. And maybe I'm not giving it to you in the way you want. Maybe you say, oh, I want it harder, Gary. But that's where I have to draw the line, because if I start doing it harder and becoming too selfless and not meeting my own needs there, I start not enjoying it. And it won't be really a good massage anyway. It won't be giving a good energy across to that person, and I'll be getting stressed. So that's really important, to do things because you enjoy doing them, but also for others, do things for other people, start enjoying doing things for other people, and actually getting joy from doing those things. And that's beautiful, isn't it? Helping others to help ourselves is a beautiful selfless and selfish act. Anyway, there we go. It's my 2 pennies worth on that. I'll be doing a blog and an a podcast on that subject because I love it. Who's that cute person in the video here with magic?
Hi.
Hi, darling. You all right?
Yeah.
Has your hair changed?
Yeah, she has so much curves.
Has your hair changed colour? I thought it was dark brown last time.
No.
Have you been colouring it?
And so many curves.
No.
Oh, have you styled it? You got more curly?
Well, sometimes it happens a lot with my hair.
After washing it, maybe.
I didn't even wash it.
Okay. From the sweat then. But it's beautiful.
It's really nice. I love your, beautiful hair. Really lovely. And is Daddy being a good daddy at the moment? No. Has he bought you anything, done anything nice for you lately?
I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah, she's not sure. She don't remember now.
You don't remember those nice things.
About the dragons?
Dragon.
Yeah.
My dragon.
Oh, that's nice. He bought you a dragon. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, like 4, like water, earth, ice. I mean, it's not the elements, but like 3 of them are elements and 1 of them is just ice. I mean, I don't have fire, so.
Oh, okay. That's Daddy, that's really mean. Not getting a fire dragon.
Okay.
All right, he'll get on. Don't worry, I'll make him get you one. Or when I come out to Thailand, I'll get you one. That's so mean, Daddy, missing the fire dragon.
Yeah, maybe Gary and Nadine, they are coming to Thailand. Might.
What?
Yeah, maybe.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, I need somewhere to stay. I'm going to stay at your house and you're going to cook for me and clean and wash my clothes.
No, I'm not.
I'll pay you. I'll pay you 5 baht.
No.
10?
No.
All right.
No.
Anyway,
Bye.
it's a lot of money out there. Anyway, okay, guys. So I can hang around for a few more minutes if anyone wants to talk, or they can go. Whatever you want to do now. We've come to the end.
Ariana needs to go to bed now.
Bye.
Bye.
So,
Good
thanks for
night.
today.
Bye,
Cheers,
sweetheart.
guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, sweet girl.
Kirsty, nice to see you
Bye-bye.
here as well.
Nice to see you.
I'm
Cheers, guys.
staying, Gary, because I want to talk.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, bye.
See you guys.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, that was nice. Oh, what a cute girl. Isn't she cute?
She's a
My-
sweet girl, isn't she?
I don't know how old she is.
She look like 8, 9.
9, 8 or 9, we think. But anyway, your little one's so cute as well, though.
When she sleeps, yes.
When she sleeps.
Gary, I'm going for a date tomorrow.
I know.
Okay, I don't know because as we were doing this,
You
and
can't
I
hear,
was,
can you? She's telling me about her date tomorrow. Do you want to have one?
yeah, I thought Nadine is listening. Yeah, and I know since I got separated, I know after I came to UK last year, and then when I came back home, I went a little bit crazy. I was going on dates and things like that, and I could see that going on dates, going on dates was just like, like sometimes you feel like when men